bagi memperkasakan sektor pendidikan negara berdasarkan 7 teras nadi keunggulan Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Pertama, pembinaan semula bangunan daif di sekolah menerusi penubuhan pasukan petugas khas reformasi agensi STAR. Kedua, projek penyelenggaraan tandas institusi pendidikan Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Ketiga, pemberian bantuan awal persekolahan bagi sesi 2023-2024. Keempat, rancangan makanan tambahan. Kelima, perluasan program sekolah komprehensif 9 dan program sekolah komprehensif 11. Keenam, dasar pendidikan digital. Ketujuh, program gotong royong madani KPM 2023. Kerajaan sentiasa mengutamakan pendidikan melalui inisiatif bagi memacu negara ke arah intelektual yang berdaya saing.
Good evening, you are tuned in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. A KK Supermart outlet in Kuching, Sarawak has been attacked with a Molotov cocktail, the third such attack on the convenience store chain. Kuching District Police Chief ACP Ashman Bajah in a statement today confirmed that police had received a report by staff of the convenience store pertaining to the incident. According to him, the case is being investigated as mischief by fire. Ashman also called for restraint from all parties to allow the legal process to take its course. The first incident was at an outlet in Bidor Tapah on March 26th, while the second happened at Sungai Isap, Kuantan on March 29th. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed disappointment over the alleged power abuse and corruption cases involving the Customs Department. He says the case, while only involving a small part of the department, has cost the government billions of ringgit in losses.
Orang yang meremehkan isu rasuah lupa bahawa dalam satu jabatan, satu jabatan kecil dari pasukan keluarga kastam keseluruhannya itu masih boleh menyebabkan kerugian hampir 2 bilion ringgit kepada negara.
Last week, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission detained 34 customs officers attached to KLIA who were suspected of being involved in smuggling contraband. The officers allegedly received bribes in exchange for allowing cargoes of chewing tobacco, cigarettes, alcohol, health products and vehicle spare parts to pass through without inspection or declaration.
Malaysians who did not register with the Central Database Hub, PADU, before the March 31st deadline will still be able to receive aid if they are eligible. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli says alongside PADU, the government will use existing administrative data to determine the eligibility of individuals during the shift to targeted subsidies.
Rafizi said his ministry would submit its plan for targeted subsidies to the cabinet this month. Once a decision is made on the mechanism, PADU registration, he said, could also be temporarily reopened to allow individuals to update their profiles if necessary. A total of 11.6 million Malaysians have registered with PADU since it opened on January 2nd. Perlis, Kelantan and Terengganu recorded the highest percentage of Malaysians aged 18 years old and above who registered and updated their profiles.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced a 500 ringgit special Aidilfitri financial aid to civil servants on grade 56 and below, including contract appointees, to be paid this Friday. 250 ringgit would also be paid to government retirees, including pensionable and non-pensionable veterans.
InsyaAllah saya telah maklum kepada perbendaraan supaya BKK Aidilfitri disalurkan mulai Jumaat ini 5 April 2024. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Separately, Anwar announced that payments for Phase 2 of the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah (STR) to 8.4 million recipients will begin on Wednesday. This would involve payments ranging from 100 to 650 ringgit. The Prime Minister said the government has increased the allocation of the subsidy program by 20% to 1.5 billion ringgit compared to 1.26 billion ringgit last year. The World Bank has maintained its forecast for Malaysia's economic growth at 4.3% this year, driven by domestic demand and recovery in the export market. The agency's forecast is in line with Malaysia's official growth projection between 4 and 5% in 2024 versus a 3.7% expansion in 2023. According to the agency's East Asia and Pacific April 2024 economic report, the country's GDP forecast is unchanged when compared to its October 2023 forecast. But for 2025, it expects Malaysia's economic growth pace to pick up slightly to 4.4%. Malaysia is also set to benefit from the recovery in the tech cycle, which could boost electric and electronics exports. The National Resources and Environmental Sustainability Ministry will review the related laws to address plastic pollution in the country. According to Minister Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, current efforts to address the problem are not as effective and that it remains a major issue in Malaysia.
The reason being that
he added that existing laws are fragmented and their implementation is dependent on local authorities. Nik Nazmi said the ministry is looking at how the federal government can enact legislation to address this, focusing on how to make the use of plastics more sustainable. He also highlighted the widespread usage of plastics in the informal sector, such as in night markets and Ramadan bazaars, and how measures such as charging for plastic usage are not widely implemented.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Assalamualaikum.
Selebriti mana yang datang memeriahkan sepatu Al Raya?
Surprise! Oh, handsome lah hari ni.
You single ke?
Apa beza Hari Raya dengan awak?
Pasti cair dengan ayat pikat mereka.
Hari Raya setahun sekali, tapi rindu kat awak hari setiap masa.
Sepatu reunion Al Raya 2024. Masa anugerah terindah dari Astro Warna dan Astro Go.
Daulat Tuanku.
With less than 2 weeks until Hari Raya, there's ample opportunity to fully embrace Ramadan by staying active and prioritizing healthy choices. Dr. Atina Zulkifli explores positive practices during this time.
While you're being active, it actually helps you in your ibadah as well, because ibadah in Ramadan is not easy, especially while we're talking about Tarawih, right? And then you get lack of sleep, you gotta take care of your family and you need to fast. So being active helps you in your ibadah directly, actually. And then, like I said, cultivating new habits or being active actually helps you in being disciplined, creating that new habits, better habits. So it helps you to discipline yourself, not just in terms of ibadah, but it's also in terms of, holistically everything. So when you incorporate building good habits, it actually helps you discipline yourself.
Athena also shared tips on maintaining an active lifestyle throughout the fasting month.
So exercise, you can do cardio, you can do strength training or resistance training, okay? And it depends on everyone what kind of exercise you want to do, what kind of exercise is suitable for you, okay? You have to ask yourself that. And if you've never been exercised before, probably you should start with something easy like brisk walking. Okay, and the don'ts would be, I wouldn't suggest anyone to exercise super hard during Ramadan. You know, strenuous, hard exercise and prolonged outdoor exercise, because with our current weather situation, I wouldn't suggest. You know, keep yourself cool, keep it indoor if you can. If you don't want to go to the gym, you find it you don't like it, you can do it in the car park or wherever there is shaded, right? So I would strongly suggest that, or you do it after iftar when it's, you know, dark and colder. Another thing is that trying something that you're unfamiliar with and and it's clear cut, it's a strenuous and hard exercise. I wouldn't suggest that as well. So those are the don'ts. Your schedule, your commitment, you know, if you're single, it's going to be different. If you're a family, small kids will be different. So whatever it is that suits your schedule, that's sustainable. For example, right, there's one before iftar, after Taraweeh, before sahur, after sahur. So it depends on you. You have to try it out, to be honest. Like, for example, you want to try before iftar and you find it, okay, this doesn't work for me. I get really thirsty, even though it's just 30 minutes right before azan, right? It's okay. Do it after iftar. But you got to know that you cannot like overeat. You cannot eat too much. Then, you know, you're not going to be able to do your exercise. So you have to try it for yourself, because everyone is different. You see, like I said, everyone is different and unique. So try it for yourself, which one that suits you. And you may not stick to that one particular time. Maybe today I'm doing it after iftar. Tomorrow I'm going to do it after Taraweeh, whichever that's, you know, suits your needs and your schedule. Yeah.
Turkey's main opposition party has claimed victory in the main cities of Istanbul and Ankara in local elections. The results are a significant blow for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his Justice and Development Party in more than 2 decades.
Erdogan had hoped to regain control of the cities less than a year after winning a 3rd term as president. But the incumbent mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu of the Republican People's Party, CHP, secured more than 50% of the vote in Sunday's election, defeating the ruling party's candidate by more than 11 points and almost 1 million votes. Meanwhile, in the capital Ankara, opposition mayor Mansur Yavaş was so far ahead of his rival that he declared victory with less than half the votes counted. Significantly, the CHP also took control of Turkey's 4th largest city, Bursa, and Balıkesir in the northwest, and retained control of Izmir, Adana, and the resort city of Antalya. Under Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey's presidency has acquired sweeping powers, but in the cities, directly elected mayors still wield considerable influence. During the campaign, Erdogan said it would be his last election as his presidential term ends in 2028, but critics said victory would have emboldened him to change the constitution so he could run again.
Israel's military confirms that it has pulled out of the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza after a 2-week operation that has left a trail of destruction. Israeli forces say they killed Palestinian gunmen and seized weapons and intelligence documents in the area. Now, the raid came after Israel said that it had information indicating that Hamas was using the hospital as a base to launch attacks. The group has denied using medical facilities to carry out military operations. Israel's military said the raid had been conducted while preventing harm to civilians, patients, and medical teams. However, the World Health Organization said 21 patients had died since the siege of the facility on March 18th. Gaza's civil defense and medical authorities are currently at the site for recovery operations, including searching for bodies. The fate of 107 critical patients who were moved to an old part of the medical complex 2 days ago also remains unknown. Germany today became the largest country in the European Union to legalize cannabis for recreational use. Under a new law that comes into force today, people over 18 can now carry 25 grams of dried cannabis and grow up to 3 marijuana plants at home.
To celebrate the partial legalization of cannabis in the country, people gathered at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin at midnight to smoke together. The changes leave Germany with some of the most liberal cannabis law in Europe, alongside Malta and Luxembourg, which legalized recreational use in 2021 and 2023 respectively. Despite strong objections from opposition politicians and medical associations, the German government argued that legalization would help curb the growing black market for the popular substance. It stressed that cannabis would still be banned for those under 18 and within 100 meters of schools, kindergartens and playgrounds. The next step in the legal reform would see people being able to legally purchase marijuana from cannabis establishments in the country starting July 1st. The regulated associations would be allowed to have 500 members each and distribute up to 50 grams of cannabis per person per month.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching. Good night.